Welcome to the first episode. Today we have joining us Natalia Toreto. Natalia was the first agent to join our growing real estate team. And originally from Brazil, Natalia has a lot of fun takes on life in the US and certainly life as a real estate agent. I said, hey, we're going to be hiring. And then Rachel says, hey, I had this girl reach out and she just sent me her resume. I think you should talk to her. And then we talked on the phone for like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yes.
And then came in person. And then it was like, you're hired, let's go. And that was almost 2 years ago now.
Almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Times fly. And well, since then, everything changes so much.
Yeah. So you've been on the team 2 years. And I think you'd been an agent for about 6 months before that.
Before that.
When you think back on the 2 years on the team, like what are some things you've learned?
Well, the very first thing that I learned is don't take anything personally.
Yeah.
Of course. Because as you know, I always work for the corporate world. And the corporate business is just like numbers and it's black and white. Mm-hmm. And when we work with residential and emotions and dreams, everything is different.
Yeah, it's way different.
Yeah. So I think first thing is don't take anything personally. Like we are dealing with a lot different. Every client, every family has a different story and different dreams. But also all the market helped to bump up this learning curve.
Well, yeah. I mean, people complained about being in the market where you're having to write like 10 offers for one client. On the flip side, you're doing 10 times the learning per client because you get to write more offers, have more negotiations, deal with more disappointment.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so you got some accelerated learning.
Yeah.
Now what does it feel like in this market where it's a lot slower?
The market now, it's much slower than it was 2 years ago, of course. But now I feel much more prepared, to okay, bring it on,
Yeah, I'm going to dominate this. Yeah, exactly. It's nice to have buyers right now.
Exactly.
And sellers too. I mean, it's just not crazy.
Yeah, it's not crazy. I think it's back to normal-ish as we saw in 2019.
Yeah.
It's not, I think now it's even better than 2019.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their own opinion, but I think it's a better market now than 2019. Mm-hmm. But I like this kind of market. I like being able to tell somebody, hey, you can sleep on the decision. Mm-hmm. Not like, oh, by the way, the offer deadline is in 30 minutes and here's what I think you have to do.
Yeah, here's the offer. Just go online and sign it.
Now, because we have to submit it now.
And we need to pay $100,000 above asking price.
What's the highest you had somebody pay over last year you saw?
Oh, I think it was $150,000.
On like a $500,000.
Yes, it was about 28% above asking price.
I think I know the deal you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it pretty much appraised.
Appraised.
Yeah. So
that was crazy.
That's also crazy. But now we don't have to do that. This is great. We don't have to pay $2,000 for an option fee.
It's more a fair negotiation.
I think so. Everybody can kind of have a win. Mm-hmm. Before it was like sellers get a win, 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 win. All I do is win. And the buyers were just sweating.
And what's broke my heart when the market was that crazy is for first-time home buyers. Those people that always lived in Texas and they're like a young couple that wanted to buy their first home. Yeah. They saved up a little money for the down payment, and then someone out of the state comes and boom, make an offer.
Pays $150,000, $200,000 over.
Exactly. It was kind of heartbreaking for dealing, with this.
Yeah. But thinking about you as an agent, like that was a good way to get experience.
Of course.
I mean, you got accelerated learnings. Mm-hmm. What has surprised you about 2 years on the team now, or a couple years in the industry? What surprised you most?
Well, I'm from Brazil. So what surprised me most is that how professional the residential real estate market is here in the U.S.
It's funny because what surprises me most is how unprofessional the real estate market.
Well, depending on what you compare with.
Yeah,
like I'm comparing with Brazil. Like the residential real estate market in Brazil, I wouldn't say unprofessional, but there is much more to improve in order to get where we are today here in the U.S.
Okay. What would be some examples of that?
Like Here in US, we have the MLS, which is one single system where we have the visibility of every single listing on the market. And not only what is available, but what is the history about that property, how much was sold 5 years ago, who was the owner. So all that information that every single agent on the market has access to it, for me, it's impressive.
Yeah, so that wouldn't exist there. Like, no transparency.
We don't have, in Brazil, there's no one single system that provides all this background information about the properties. Like, they have small brokerages, and each brokerage has their own system. So sometimes the same property is in every single, all different brokerages with misinformations. So
I might have my house listed with broker XYZ and it says it's 4,500 square feet.
Exactly.
And broker number 2 says it's 38,900.
Exactly.
Or 3890.
Exactly. You don't have the accurate information because there is not, one single system.
I think we take for granted how much transparency there is in the marketplace.
There is.
And I think agents sometimes take that for granted too. Like sometimes their buyers know more about the house than them. Like especially with people who call us online, like they sometimes have researched and obsessed about the house for like a week and memorized all the facts about it, maybe even Google stalked the owners. And then they called us and said, hey, we really like this house. Can we go see it? And so that doesn't exist in other areas.
That doesn't exist. Here in US, most of the people take it for granted. But when we are dealing with foreign clients that are not used to this kind of transparency, they ask questions because in their current, like the former country they came from, it's not as transparent as here.
Yeah, I take that for granted for sure. Having grown up here, I had one buyer that kept asking me repeatedly, like, you're sure nobody else is buying this house? And I was like, yeah, of course not. Like only one person can buy the house. And finally she said, well, no, like in India, like I've heard of people that have sold their house to 6 different people. Yeah. I was like, oh no, that can't happen here.
Exactly.
Like, there are certainly some fraudsters out there doing shady things, but it's rarely as an actual transaction involved. They're trying to get information or something.
Exactly.
Have you ever had anybody reach out to you on Zillow about a house that was not for sale? Yes. But it was a fake listing?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they've really done a good job cleaning up the site, but they used to happen a lot where scammers would put the house for sale. But no sale was actually happening. It was just a scam for people. They would usually catch on.
Yeah. And I would like clarify, like, well, this property is not for sale. Like, well, but I saw on Zillow. Like, well,
yeah. Well, I forgot. Everything that's online is true.
Yeah.
It must be for sale. So like transparency, and then also thinking about as a consumer, like having access to data and how they interact with agents is different too. What else has surprised you? Anything top of mind?
The interest rates here is rare in US has been very low in the past 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. So
we are now in like 6.5 today, December.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's going to keep like that or even lower 2023 hopefully, but interest rates are pretty low, so gives people the power to buy their home here in the US. So you don't need to put 20% down payment. You can put you have different programs, different options for different people to buy their dream home. So this is very interesting, and this is powerful for people, like having the opportunity to have their home under their name, all that.
So I'm guessing kind of what I'm interpreting here is in Brazil, people don't have access to a bunch of mortgage products, or they're more expensive.
It's more expensive. Like for today, as December 2022, interest rate there is like 18%.
In Brazil.
In Brazil.
And I'm guessing people are still buying and selling houses too with an 18% interest rate.
Yes.
Just like here in the 80s.
Yeah. And everything's more expensive. Doesn't have this, it's not as easy as it is right here.
It's so funny to think about, because right now everybody's talking about affordability and how costly it is to buy a home. And you're saying, well, outside the US, it'd be way worse.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I have to confess, you were saying interest rates are low, and they're way lower than I thought they would be. I think in our team meetings, I was like, look, guys, it's going to be 8 in December. Well, it's not. It's 6, and some people are getting less. And I'm really happy about that. And so I'm hoping that trend continues into the next year.
Yeah, and in the past 3 to 4 weeks, interest rates got a little bit lower.
Yeah.
We had clients that closed last month for almost 7.2. Right. So
they'll be refinancing in 6 months, I'm sure. Or maybe sooner. Sorry to the lenders. But I think they priced that in. I think they know everybody's going to refinance. So they're like increasing the rates more than maybe historically they would be, just because they assume like we need to make some money on this loan because they're going to refinance in 6 months or a year when rates are down.
Yeah. And let's tell the truth, like 7% interest rate, it's better than 100% for rent.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right? Where you don't see the money anymore.
Yeah, you get 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody tell me just a month ago, like, oh, we really want to wait till prices go down. And they're like in short-term housing for $4,000 a month. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, you're getting nothing for your money now. And while I don't think prices are going to go down, even if they go down like $10,000, you're only going to save $50 a month, assuming everything stays the same. And so I'm like, right now you're giving up like over $4,000 a month just so you can maybe in the future save $50 a month. Well, I would just sometimes the thinking here is funny, but I mean, I guess we take it for granted because we're in the marketplace all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So thinking about your time as an agent, what's some advice you would give to a new agent?
Join a team.
Join a team. Okay.
As soon as possible. And find a team that is going, one, to give you training. Second, that you get along with the team, to the agents, all the people involved. That makes a lot of big difference. You want to work with someone that you like, right? And third, if you're a new agent and you don't have like huge sphere of influence, or you don't know how to approach, you're not into the cold call, or you don't know how to start getting leads, find a team that will provide leads for you and training to convert those leads.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. It's easy to flounder around as a new agent a little bit and then get frustrated with the industry. But yeah. Okay, cool. You've done really well in your first couple of years, and speaking for myself, and I think for the whole team, we're very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm excited to see where the future brings you in real estate, because I think even more good things are in store. I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about your story, your origin story, if you will. You touched on it briefly already. Like, you're originally from Brazil. How did you, I mean, you didn't just poof like a magic genie show up in Frisco. Like, what's your story from coming from Brazil to the U.S.?
Me and my husband, we always dreamed about living outside of Brazil, like different country. So since we met 12 years ago, we always planned to, like, where we're going to live in the future. So we thought about Germany, Italy, Portugal, Australia, Canada, and U.S., of course. And we started to, dive a little bit deep, like, okay, how can we get there? And we wanted to move because, number one, safety and have a better quality of life.
And when you came here, how old was your daughter?
She was 2.
2, okay.
Yes. So Cassio got, after dive deep into like our dream to move, he got one opportunity to move to work here in Texas. And we moved. We accepted, and
now you're here. Now, when you moved, was Texas on your radar screen as an option, or were you thinking other metro areas?
Well, we didn't have any preference itself to say like, well, I would love to live in Florida or California or New York. No. Okay. We just wanted to move to the U.S. But when pop up about Texas, like, maybe, I don't know, to country, isn't it?
Isn't that what everybody thinks when they're moving to Texas? They're like, I just don't know. Like, it's so country.
Yeah. So, but when we moved with all, the first time that we got here, we got our luggage and we got an Uber and went to an apartment. Like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, wait. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Where are all the cowboy boots and
where are the cows?
The cows? And we got all really impressed, like positive, impressive, because everything's new here and there's a lot of new construction and new developments.
Oh, you love new construction.
I do.
We'll save that topic for later. But yeah, it is new. Well, so in Brazil, you're saying things aren't as new or as fresh.
Well, depend where you're living. We were living in São Paulo, where it's kind of New York, all like buildings and
so
it's
urban.
Yeah, it's very urban.
Well, I remember you were telling us in a meeting that I think you said or your friends had like an armored car.
Yes.
Which is so funny to think about to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It is.
And you told me I'm too naive because I'll get robbed. So there's that. So you said you were impressed with the news. Where did you guys move first when you got here?
When we got here, we lived for about 30 days in Plano.
Okay.
And then we moved to the colony in a townhome, more space, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And within 6 months, we bought our first home here.
What? I thought you could buy a house in the U.S. for decades.
We thought as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw all those new construction going on in Frisco, and we started to dive a little bit deep into if it was possible to buy a home within less than a year living here, because on the first year you don't have credit score, credit history. You don't have all those things that makes the package to get you approved to buy a home, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's sometimes some legwork required to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Now, how did you pick Plano, coming from like a major city, and then you end up in Plano, probably short-term housing or something, but like how did that end up becoming the choice?
Because it was the closest the apartment itself was the closest apartment complex close to Cassio's job.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yes.
Like, okay, no, my work's
like
going to be...
walking distance, basically.
Yeah. Now, were you able to get a car pretty quickly?
Oh, yes. In the first weeks, we got a car.
Nice.
We leased a car.
Okay.
To build credit, all that.
Yeah, that's smart.
Everything, like thinking about how we build credit.
Yeah.
So
getting a driver's license. Sometimes unfortunately it takes a while in Texas to get a driver's license.
Yeah, but when you're foreign, you can use your driver's license from your origin country for about 60 days.
60 days.
Yes.
Okay. That gives you some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, having an international driver's license. Did you have trouble getting like phone or like other services, or that was all relatively easy?
Well, we did have trouble to get credit card. Well, imagine you are a foreign, you don't have the credit here in U.S. Even though you have a lot of assets and money in the other country, you just arrived, like you just landed here. So our first credit card had like 500 limit.
So you can buy groceries a couple times.
So we would go to Costco, spend like $400, and then like leave Costco and pay the credit card. Just to build that. Okay, we need to pay in order, because you cannot spend more than 30% of your limit on the credit card. Otherwise, your credit goes down. All that we were learning at the time. So I think the biggest struggle was getting a credit card, like our furnitures. We came without furnitures. We needed to go to Nebraska, and we couldn't buy a furniture because it was more than $500.
Yeah, and you didn't have credit.
We didn't have credit. Yes.
It's so crazy to think about. What's funny about our system is if you have money, you can get credit no problem. But you typically don't need credit when you have a lot of money. You need the credit when you're wanting to borrow money. So it's a little weird. Now in Brazil, credit cards are a thing, but they work a little differently, don't they?
Yes. So in Brazil, usually people have 1 or 2 credit cards. You don't have like a lot of different credit cards. It's different because you can basically pay everything in installments.
On the one credit card.
On the one credit card.
So it's like you work it out with the store, the installment plan.
Yes.
And then they bill your card accordingly?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a different system.
Here. There's versions of that, but it's not nearly as clean as what you're describing.
But the bank system in Brazil, it's much better than the U.S.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I am not a huge fan of our banking system, but tell me why it's better in Brazil.
Well, it's more technological. It's much faster. Like if you do you wire money to someone, it's online. It's like the same second. It can take like 3 seconds. Oh, and wow. Here, when you do like a wire transfer, it takes
3 hours.
Sometimes 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. Especially international.
Yeah. But if I do like wire transfer to someone, shows like pending until like.
Well, that's how we know you're big time, is you're doing wire transfers. The rest of us are just doing Zelle. There's the limit on how much you can do on Zelle too. I think it's a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
Depending on your bank.
Yeah.
Are you a real estate agent listening to this podcast? Our team is growing. To find out more about joining a fun, service-minded team, go to hastingsre.com/careers. That's HAISTINGSRE.com/careers.
When's your next trip to Brazil?
A couple of months.
In 2023?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Spring. But spring here will be fall there?
Spring here is winter there.
Winter there.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite.
It's opposite. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, that'll be fun. What? So, if you were to make your favorite Brazil, you said you missed the food. Like, if you were to make your favorite Brazilian meal, what would that be?
Rice, beans, meat, vegetables, and a salad.
It sounds very, very simple.
Simple, yeah.
It sounds very healthy too. I'm not sure what to think about that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah, I cook like that.
Now, you go to a Brazilian grocery store here sometimes, I think, right?
Yes, I do.
Where is it?
There are two Brazilian grocery stores here in DFW region. One is in Plano, South Plano, almost close to Dallas on Dallas North Tollway.
Okay.
And the other one is close to the 75, close to Allen. So
okay,
more
so
like
both kind of in
East
Collin
Plano.
County.
Yeah.
So what would you buy there that you wouldn't buy like at a Whole Foods or an HEB?
Guaraná, which is the Brazilian soda from the fruit.
Okay.
Açaí.
Cashew milk?
Cashew juice.
Juice, okay.
Yeah, cashew juice. Tapioca.
You can't buy that here?
No, it's a different, like, it's a tapioca flour where
okay.
I do kind of like a wrap with tapioca.
Yeah.
Well, a few things.
A few things. So there's some things you miss. What are some things that you love about the U.S., especially things you never expected, like surprises?
Oh, for sure, the safety.
The safety.
Yes, every time that I think about it, like, wow. And it's not that it's perfect. It's not, of course. There's no place that it's like 100% safety. The opportunity that we have to just walk on the street with talking on a cell phone, or even like driving with your windows down and stopping on the, on the light, without needing to worry about it. It's stressful.
It's foreign to me. I mean, literally, like I can't even imagine that.
Exactly, because you never lived that situation before. But or like pick up Laura at school and then like, hey, let's ride a bike in the neighborhood without having to worry about, oh my God, what is this car? Who is inside this car? Should we go in?
Yeah. Or, is this person with the tinted windows?
That anxiety, like this moment of stress, we don't have here. So I think top number one, what do you love about the region? It's safety.
Now, do you think that's because you're like here, you're in Frisco, which is a little more of a suburb? Is that part of it, or you think it's just period overall everything's safer?
Absolutely, I think we are in a bubble in Frisco, of course.
Happy bubble. Okay. Now, what else has surprised you?
Well, there are a few things. As you know, we love the opportunity to return items. Here in U.S., everyone is consume a lot, like buy a lot of things. It's very affordable.
They buy so much they need to get a bigger house to store all the stuff they bought that they don't use.
Exactly. So it's interesting that most of the places, I would say like 99% of the places, you can buy a product, use it, and if you don't like it for any reason, you can return it and you receive your money back.
Yeah. So you like safety and returns. Anything else? Or put the question a different way. If you were a person thinking about moving to the U.S. or even specifically North Texas, what are some things you tell them they're really going to like when they get here?
I think the sense of community. Here, for me, it's very, very strong. So Laura is in the public school, Frisco ISD, and I'm learning this on the way, right? Because Laura just started. But there are a lot of parents who joins the school when they make themselves available for doing volunteer works and
parent-teacher association, sports boosters.
Yes.
On and on and on.
Yes, and not only in school, but everything else. Like if you go to the gas station and I saw that a few times and like, oh, that makes sense. Like most of the gas stations, like you don't want to go to a bathroom at the Brazil gas station. It's like just like your last option.
You're 30 seconds from exploding, and that's when you go.
But here you go to like a bathroom in the gas station, and I see many times like someone washing their hands, getting the paper towel, cleaning, drying her hands, but also cleaning all the water that spill out. And this is like, I think that's a sense of community because she wants to make, ready for someone else that is going to come.
Yeah, respect for others.
Exactly, respect for others. So this is important for us, and when we think about it, it's very different from Brazil. Like here, people are caring, they care about the others, even if they don't know the other person.
I mean, I don't want to say that's unique to North Texas, but I do think people are especially friendly here. Like I've had Californians move here, and then a month later, they're like, we're just catching up, and they're like, everybody's so nice here. Like at Bed Bath & Beyond, the people were helping us find the things, we needed. And I was like, well, yeah, isn't that how it is everywhere? And they're like, no, California, you have to find it yourself.
I know. I think this is a thing here special for this North Dallas area. I had clients as well that from Philadelphia that came here like, why people are so nice here? That's why I moved. And it's everywhere, not only in Bath and Beyond or groceries, but
before I came here, I'd been living in upstate New York, and I started a job here, which I ultimately didn't like and quit. But I was having to buy work clothes, and so I remember being in Nordstrom's, which is generally a friendly store to begin with. But the woman in line turned around and was like, "Oh, hey," started a conversation, and I was like, "Oh yeah, people, we can talk. We're friendly here." And even in small upstate New York, people were generally friendly, but it was like next level where it was like enough to like startle me and like shake me out of like the like my own little bubble, which was good. I mean, that was very healthy for me.
Yeah. And even if you drive around or if you are like walking any place, usually everything's pretty clean, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not everywhere in the U.S. probably, but that's definitely nice about North Texas and like especially when we think Plano, Frisco, like on the northern side. That's one of the pluses of these communities for sure.
Is it a thing here in Texas that everything needs to be like big?
Well, that's the rumor. I mean, I've been here a decade now, so at home now. But like before, outside of Texas, everybody always says everything's bigger in Texas. Certainly, if you think about what you can buy with a normal housing budget, it's a pretty substantial house. I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
There's Cowboy Stadium, which is huge.
Yeah.
Well, think about the high school football stadiums here.
Yeah, it's like professional.
Yeah.
Stadiums. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I mean there is that everything's bigger here in Texas.
Yeah.
Plano or Frisco?
Frisco for sure.
Well, what makes Frisco so special when we compare the two?
Well, I think Plano is more mature, like city, and has more things to do. But I like new construction. So when we're talking about new construction, I think Frisco wins because Frisco has more newer homes.
Absolutely.
Has more space for new communities and to expand. And Frisco schools are amazing as well. So I think it's for family. When you drive through all the communities, you always see kids playing, and it's all the communities will have a lot of family oriented.
Well, you see that in Plano too. They're just not new houses.
Exactly.
And that's one of our ongoing things is Plano versus Frisco. What about barbecue? Let's hear your thoughts on barbecue. Well, we're talking North Texas.
Well, I do like the barbecue from Texas. Of course, my favorite is the Brazilian barbecue because there's not a lot of spices. Like Brazil, we just use salt. That's it.
So you taste the meat more.
Taste the meat, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not as spicy. It's cooked in a way. It's smoked.
It's like smoked.
It's smoked.
Yeah,
Yes.
smoked meat. Yeah.
It's smoked meat. So I do.
So people don't smoke meat in Brazil.
No.
Whereas that's like there's like a subculture of smoking meats here.
Well, we do, but not very often.
Okay.
Like it's not something very.
What about
popular.
frying a turkey? Do people in Brazil fry their turkey?
No, absolutely not.
Do they fry anything?
No. Well, we fry like French fries,
The American food.
but here in Texas is another level.
Did you go to the State Fair this year?
Yes,
Was
I
that your
did.
first time?
Was my first time.
And what did you think of that operation?
It's huge event. I think everyone needs to go one day in their life.
Did you sample all the fried foods when you were there?
No, I was looking for everything that was not fried. So I got the
So
turkey
you went
leg.
hungry the whole day,
No, I got the turkey leg.
which
I
is
got,
as big as your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. I got corn.
Okay, so you're very healthful at the fair.
Okay, I got the corn dog. Because
Full confession.
full confession. I got the corn dog. It was good.
What other places in the region have you been that were like some of your favorites?
I do love the Highland area, Highland Park.
Yeah, who doesn't?
And to see, well, every time that I drive around that area, it looks like I'm inside a movie with all,
You basically are. It's like Fantasyland. Yeah.
Fantasyland, exactly.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, all those mansions and huge homes, very well taken care of with their landscaping, especially this time of the year where we have Christmas
like around the
and all the
holidays and New
lights.
Year's, everybody's got it's beautiful.
It's
and they make a big investment in making it look beautiful.
Yeah. I bet.
But about your neighborhood, you're in Edgestone. I bet
Yes.
a lot of people are doing lights.
Yes.
Is there like a community competition for that?
Yes, of course. That's
course.
a big thing here. Like the Christmas decoration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like in Brazil, we just do, trees, like Christmas tree.
Do you do a real tree or a fake tree?
A fake tree.
Okay.
Yeah. But here, decoration, it's a completely different level. Like you go to the stores, we have like pillows and like throws and everything, like cups and the mug. For everything is Christmas.
Yeah. Well, you can buy it for all the holidays. Remember, it's a consumerism. Yeah, so people don't do Christmas lights in the way they do here.
Well, I think they might do. Since I'm from São Paulo, and São Paulo it's just full of apartments.
Yeah.
We might hang a field lights and
Yeah, it's not the
on
same.
the balcony, but it's
Would stores be totally decked out for Christmas, or would it just be kind of muted?
a field, but it's not to the U.S. level.
It's not like going to the North Park Mall or Stonebriar Mall and it's decorated and Santa's there.
Well, usually we have like galleries and malls where in São Paulo where there's a nice decoration for Christmas, but like it's like the center small place with a huge tree. It looks nice, but when we compare to U.S., it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, so and it's over the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my family goes like crazy on Christmas. I doubt you've seen the movie. It's called Christmas with the Cranks. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, it's a silly holiday movie, but the husband and wife, mom and dad, go crazy. Mom decorates the inside and dad decorates the outside. Sometimes my family does like over the top same thing with lights and inside decor, and they're not unusual in that. Like a lot of people do that.
But I think, well, if I compare Christmas in Brazil and here, I think Brazil it's more towards the religion, like, Jesus and...
for Christmas, you mean?
For Christmas, of course. It's a real reason for that Christmas.
The reason for the season.
That's the real reason, not like Santa. Here's more towards decoration and Santa, Santa and the gifts, right?
Yeah, it's super commercialized.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was on your wish list this year for Christmas?
Cass and I decided to update our coffee machine.
Oh.
So we made a deal. Like we are not going to give it each other, but we are going to update for a professional and nicer, like Italian coffee machine.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So you got it. Yeah.
I don't know much about coffee culture. I'm like a tea drinker.
It's more like espresso, more strong.
Do you have espresso after dinner?
No.
It's just a morning thing.
Just a morning.
I never can figure out people that are like, oh, let's have an espresso after
but
dinner.
There are a lot of people who drink espresso after meals and after dinner as well.
Like, I'm going to be wired. I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah, I can't.
But I guess if your plan is to go out and have fun, maybe it makes sense to have an espresso after dinner. So we've talked a little bit about Brazil and the U.S., and I also wanted to talk about your YouTube channel you're starting.
Oh.
Yeah, coming up soon.
Coming 2023.
Yes. Tell us about your channel that you're launching.
I'm launching a YouTube channel. It will be in Portuguese for all, not only Brazilians, but everyone who speaks and understands Portuguese that lives in U.S. or lives in Brazil, anywhere in the world, who wants to learn more about how is one to live in the U.S., especially in Texas. And also learn about how to, how do you buy a home? What is the biggest difference about the Brazilian homes and American homes? What are the top things that only American home has? What is the kind of construction that here in America we have? So all, these details that a lot of people has curiosity about it. So I'm
curious too. Can you give me the scoop? Like, what are the top 3 things that we have in the U.S. that don't exist in homes outside the U.S.?
Central AC. So we have like
that's a must.
Yeah, every single home, even
at least in Texas, it's a must.
Exactly, but even like the most affordable homes and the high-end luxury homes have a
all
central.
Of them have it.
Yeah, all of them, and that's not a common thing in Brazil, at least, and most of the countries does not have that. Like if you go to Europe, the construction side, it's not prepared for that.
Growing up, though, we didn't have AC in our house because we lived in the mountains, so it was like really moderate climate. Like sometimes it would get hot, and then we'd open the windows, but at night it would cool down. But I mean, here in Texas, like it's I don't even think a lender will approve a loan if the house doesn't have AC.
Exactly. So this is one of the things. Second item is like might sound silly, but today it's super important, and most of the homes has it. And here in America, which is like dishwasher.
Oh yeah, another must. It speaks a lot about the culture when you think about things that are in people's homes that may not be universal.
Yeah, like dishwasher. Everyone uses a dishwasher, and it's something that I turn on every single, like before going to bed. In Brazil, no, like most of the people do not have.
You have to wash your dishes.
You have to wash your dishes
by hand.
Exactly, and then you hang all the dishes and wait until dry, or you like need to dry them and and put it away.
Think about all the time that saves you in a week too, though.
Yeah, a lot. Or third item is like insulation. Like most of the homes has insulation, and you don't feel the weather that it's outside. You don't feel inside the project, your home.
Yeah.
And this is not what happened in Brazil. So in Brazil, if it's pretty cold outside, you freeze inside.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a miracle when you think about it, when it's like in Texas and it's, near 100 or pushing 100, and you walk inside and it's like 78 or 74. Or 68. But like, and it's just totally, I mean, it really, when I stop thinking about it, is like a miracle to have that. Yeah. So that's one topic. We digress. So a number of topics on your channel. How would you say welcome to my channel in Portuguese?
Bem-vindo ao meu canal do YouTube.
Okay.
I
believe you. What about like, comment, and subscribe?
Well, I would say something like, olá, meu nome é Natalia Toreto, eu sou corretora de imóveis aqui no norte de Dallas. Bem-vindo ao meu canal. Lembre de se inscrever, tem muita coisa bacana chegando. E não se esqueça de ativar as notificações.
And that basically like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, basically.
Seems like it took a few extra words.
Yeah, you notice that when I speak Portuguese, it's a tiny little bit faster than when I
still seems as a relaxed pace.
Okay.
When I hear you speaking Portuguese with friends or clients. Like some languages not knowing them, feel super fast to me. And you're like, whoa, what's going on over here? Well, I still don't know what you're saying, but like it seems a more manageable pace, I guess.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens with your YouTube channel, and I'm hoping for major success. I wish you major success. And we'll see how that unfolds. It's, video and microphones and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
I'm excited for the channel starting 2023 with a different project, right? And it will be a success. I'm
Absolutely.
pretty sure. Yeah.
And now your daughter just started school this year.
Yes.
So what are some things you've learned or might tell to somebody who's like kids starting school in North Texas, whether they're from the U.S. or whether they're from anywhere else? Like, what have been changes in your life or surprises from first child, first year of school?
Okay, I'm going to tell you my experience.
Okay, I want to hear it.
For me, it was overwhelming because everything is pretty new. Think about like before Laura going to like kindergarten, we have all of the free time, not free time, but we have a flexible time. She would go to the pre-K. She didn't have time to start or time to pick up. She would eat at school and all that flexibility. Mm-hmm. Now in kindergarten, it's a completely different situation. So it's just starting. Okay, but I'm already more used to when it started because it was like completely changed. But I would say it's more dedication, of course, because you have to be on time, you have to pack the lunchbox, you have to keep it up with all the newsletter, and all the different programs that school provides. Like, oh, it's pajama day. Oh my God, I need to remember about the pajama day. Or it's the teacher's birthday. Oh, I need to get a gift for the teacher. Is the week to learn a few sight words. We need to practice these sight words and, all those things. And I know it's just starting. And I work. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Not saying
not only do you work, like a lot of times you work on the weekends and like
exactly.
Real estate's not normal schedule.
But it's a lot. But I'm having fun now doing
So what's one advice to somebody who's like going to start school next year? What would you tell them?
Well, it's going to feel a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but try to don't absorb absolutely 100% of what the school asks you to do, because you need to
Here's
pick
your list of 500 things that you can do for us.
Exactly, because the school, of course, they ask for 100 different kinds of volunteer programs and this and that. Just select the ones that you feel comfortable with, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And if you forget about the pajama day one day, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like
the sun will rise again tomorrow.
Exactly. So I think my advice is just go slowly, and you're going to feel comfortable with the kid and at school, and you're going to adjust.
I do think that people take school really, really serious here, particularly like in North Texas, like in some of these communities, there's a lot of pressure around school that I don't recall. Granted, I was 5, so I don't recall a lot from when I was 5, but I don't remember that growing up. That appears to be part of the culture around school here, like particularly in a bigger city, I think, is like all the activities, all the things going on. I don't remember all that.
Do you think maybe that's why Frisco ISD and Plano ISD, all those school districts are so high rated because of the parents involved into the school? Well,
absolutely. I mean, but I think you could have a school anywhere, and if the parents are involved with the kid, I think they'll be successful. Mm-hmm. I do think people tend to like overweight. I'll try not to get in my soapbox, but I do think people try to overweight the school ratings when they're thinking about where to live, and like undervalue their role in the child's education. Mm-hmm. Like, because at the end of the day, like you might move to a community where there's only one school because that's where you had to move for work. But your kid can turn out great as long as you instill in them like the right values and character and stay engaged in the school and all that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's kind of one of my biases coming out. But I do think it's just a city thing, really. Like there's just more pressure around it.
Yeah.
Well, like growing up in Brazil, what was school like?
I cannot say that this is how Brazil works in regards to the education, because I had the privilege to go to private school.
Oh, nice.
This sense of community that I mentioned before. where parents are very, very involved in school does not exist. Like it's very, very small.
Oh, because we're writing a check. You're gonna do stuff. We're paying for this.
Exactly. The school is very strong. It's very it's like it's a very good school. And
I suspect I can't speak to parent involvement, but I suspect private versus public is the same here, where they're going a little deeper or like more extensive in private school versus public school.
Yeah,
it probably becomes more obvious at like the high school level too.
Yeah, I cannot compare with like public here and public there.
It's just not maybe not equal comparison. Well, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and always love when we can chat and connect. And I wish you much success for 2023 and beyond.
Thank you, Matt.
Have you been thinking about moving to North Texas? Maybe you're looking in Plano, Dallas, Frisco, or the surrounding communities. Each year, our team helps dozens of families make the move to Texas. We'd love to help you begin your journey. Learn more on our website at hastingsre.com. That's HAISTINGSRE.com.